Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me and see me? Let me know in the comments, please. Hello, hello. So, who's with us today on the different platforms? And could you hear me okay? Right, so let's make a start then, shall we? So, my name is Mohammed Yunus, and I work as a director of design and engineering for a company called Aureus in the UK. I have been in the industry for 17 years now. As started as an electrical engineer, a design engineer for high voltage substations, um, control and protection, and did a number of different roles over the years. So lead engineer, senior protection engineer, and head of engineering, and yeah, worked on different projects. Just trying to introduce myself for those who don't know me or who are joining us for the very first time. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. This is usually a live that I carry out every Thursday evening. So, probably warming up for Friday for the end of the week. Uh, but mostly it's about the live questions and the questions that I get on LinkedIn and on Substack on YouTube from the lovely people who engage and interact with my content and with my profile. So let me know in the comments where are you joining us from, and give me like a sound check, please, if you can hear this, and whether you can see me as well coming through. So let me know if you can hear me okay before I get started. Okay, it seems that I'm getting a lot of content, or sorry, requests for connections through and from different countries that usually haven't been connecting with me before, which is great. So again, welcome everybody, and thank you for your interest, and hopefully we can learn from each other. Now, I was actually a bit hesitant about, or torn between two or three different ideas. So I thought I would put a vote or a poll on my page for you to vote, and the majority of the people voted for um, understanding more about career plans and how do they plan for their careers as engineers. Now, this is actually a training I've been running for a number of years, and those who work with me also know that I use this as a framework to discuss how can one think of their career, and how could one think and plan for what they want in their career. So for me, the career plan is, and it's really, really different for different people, and it may change, of course. But for me, mainly, a career plan is a visualization of my future work and self. And some people might think that you need to put goals. They are, in a way, of course, goals. But for me, it's easier for me. I find it easier to visualize than to set something that is as defined as a goal. And the danger with goals for me as well is, you know, they change. So my goals changed over the years and over the different roles that I have um, been lucky to be part of or undertaken. So, as I said, it starts with me and trying to visualize what my future work looks like, where I am, what am I doing day to day, what's like my role like, what are the kind of people that I'm working with or surrounded by, and it's also about the steps that you can take or continue on taking to try and progress towards these goals or that dream. And I don't mind calling it a dream because we have to dream, and we're here to live and dream and experience different things. So that's where I think the whole idea of a career plan revolves around, for me at least. And of course, everyone's different. So again, as we always say, and as I always say, if you've attended some of my trainings before, or you've been speaking to me about your career or about advice or whatever, or if you've attended one of the lives or seen my content, I'm a firm believer, and I always repeat it: do not let anybody tell you what you can or cannot do. When it comes to your career, that's a very, very personal thing. Career paths are very different. People, there is no two career paths that are very alike. And when you take advice from someone, and again, this is something not maybe specifically related to career planning, but in general, when you're taking advice from somebody, you always have to understand and question what their circumstances were, how close their circumstances are to yours. Do they relate, or do you relate to what they have gone through? And do they share the same values? That's very important, because if you try to resonate with people who do not share the same values, you wouldn't really, their advice would be incompatible with what you're trying to achieve. So back to the career planning then. What does it look like? Well, as I said, it's very, very different to different people. And for me, it will be based mainly on your character and your personality. What do you usually find, comfort at, or what is the level you're comfortable at with these kind of things? So let me explain. It might be the detail. So, are you a meticulous person who sits down and writes everything they have to do? I know a lot of people who are like that. Sometimes I can be like that with. Hi everyone. Yeah, I can see the comments. So hi all. Thank you for joining me, and please feel free to leave any questions in the comments. We will get to the questions in a bit. So back to what I was saying, the different forms and shapes and formats of a career plan. There's not two career plans that are alike. It all depends on what you're comfortable with and what kind of detail do you want to see in your plan. And it can be a short term plan, a medium term plan, a long term plan. I prefer medium term, around, I would say, 18 to 24 months. So that's what I prefer, because I think there is that much ebbs and flows in business that long term career planning for me doesn't really make much sense, because I do change my mind and I like to try different things, and every couple of years my mindset slightly differs, and that's just me talking about myself. So you need to always find out what you actually are as a character and as a personality at the moment and at this moment in time, because we all change, and over time we change. with more experience we change, with the more jobs we do we change, the more places we travel to and more different people we interact with we change. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, it's a very good thing. So you need to find out what works for you, or trying to find what works for you as a plan. Is it a short term plan? Are we talking months, 6 months? And I know a lot of people might have different ideas about this, especially, we're all different, Gen Z, millennials, Gen X or Y, whatever. So everyone's different and we perceive things differently. So you got to find out if it's a short term, a medium term, or a long term. Short term might be months, so 6 months. Medium term might be, I would say, 12 to 18 to 24 months, in my opinion. Long term is maybe in a number of years. And there's nothing wrong with you thinking in a long term way or approach. That's not a problem at all. I do have like a long term goal that I would like to achieve, but it's not really a tangible, well defined goal, I must say. It's more, as I said in the beginning, because my personality, I like to visualize things. So it's more of a visualization of where I would like to see myself ending up. Okay, and that has changed over the years. As all, in the beginning of my career, I always thought I would end up in project management somehow. And you'll find that I've done a lot of the steps to take me down that path. But somehow I'm doing something slightly different. I'm still working very closely with project managers on a day-to-day basis and very involved with project management. But I've taken a different path, and that's the beautiful thing about it. Again, we're here to live. We're on Earth to live and experience things. So I really would encourage you to think in that way. Find out what really makes you click, and what are the different things that you could get the opportunity and expose yourself to get the opportunity to experience, because that just grows you as a person. In terms of definition, some people like to define their career plans very, very in a very detailed manner. They would write down the exact step they need to be taking, or the exact course they need to be on, or the exact job they want to be doing, or even in terms of financially, how much money they want to be making, what kind of like financial freedom do they want to be in, etc. So there's a lot of details that people could add to the career plan, to their career plans, and that's okay. There's no right or wrong way. But for me, as I told you, I like more kind of generic visualizations, and then I would find out, and I'll explain more later. The way I prefer it is to be flexible and to review it on a 6 months by 6 month basis, if you like. I do even review it every month, just thinking about it, sitting down and thinking about the different things that I could have done differently, or I could have not done, or what kind of impact it would have on my career. And let me tell you something, that when it's in the beginning of your career, people, we all panic and we're in a hurry. Well, most of us, a lot of us are, I think, sharing that same feeling of being in a hurry, maybe slightly feeling lost. And that's all normal. These are all feelings you have to go through, especially in the beginning of your career, and sometimes even many years into your career. So when you're thinking about your career as an entry level engineer, you need to understand that the decisions, or in my opinion, again, the way I see it, there is not much decisions that you could take and that would have a long term negative impact on you. In other words, be brave and try different things and find out what you enjoy and what you like. That would be my advice to you. And more importantly, find the opportunity and the place for you to learn and grow and experience more. That would be my number one advice. Okay, so back to career plans. Why are they important? I think that career plans are very important because they will give you direction. And a lot of people don't have career plans. That's okay. and some people just have an idea in their mind about what they want to end up doing or what they want to do. That's totally fine. Uh, but I always found the people that I looked up to, or still look up to, and the people that I believe or I think are successful in different ways. Some of them are technical people, so they are still like specialists, engineers. You know, they're designing even for 30 odd or 40 years, doing a specialty, and some in project management and others in general management or people's management, so or organizational, let's say, management. So regardless of where they end up, I always found that the people that I admire have got or always had some kind of idea in mind. Now, it's not necessarily a plan, but they did have some sort of idea that what do they enjoy. They're clear on what they like, you know, at any given time. And that I think is important because without that, you kind of lose a sense of direction. And the direction is important in many ways. But again, don't take any of this as very, very, strong points that cannot be broken. You can break everything. When it comes to, planning for your career, that's a personal thing. You have to take, freedom and be deliberate with it. So a career plan gives you direction. It helps you define what you want to be doing because a lot of us might, and including myself, might wake up every morning and think, okay, what have I got to do today? So instead of starting over every day, this gives you some kind of um, how do you say it? But I've lost the word now. But this gives you some kind of theme that you could follow, and you will then know what are the actions that you need to take and what are the actions that you need to avoid, or at least get a bit more of an idea about what you want to be doing uh, on a day to day, week in, week out, and at our work. And when you do not have a defined career plan, um, regardless of the level of definition, as we said, you could miss out on opportunities. You when you have, and these are again back to a lot of the questions that people ask me, and I get a lot of messages, which is great, and I love them. Um, when people tell me, "Oh, I've got this opportunity and this opportunity, and I'm not able to choose," first of all, brilliant, congratulations. Yeah, it's an excellent position to be in when you are choosing between different opportunities. You're very it's a privilege, of course, but at the same time, this is where a career plan will help you answer these questions. Um, a career plan, yeah, agenda. You're right. So, career plan is the gives you the agenda that you need to follow, and you could refer to and compare to in contrast to it, and find out, okay, is this opportunity one that I shouldn't miss out, or is this, a subpar opportunity that I shouldn't be distracted by? So again, having that definition, not necessarily very detailed, but having that definition or a career plan will give you that kind of direction and that kind of arbitration on different opportunities and different actions that you could be choosing to take. It helps you also prioritize your time. Where do you want to spend the time doing what do you want to be doing, or what sort of thing do you want to learn, what do you want to apply for and not apply for, etc. Okay. Does it make a difference in the engineer's career or a career in engineering? As I said, the people that I admire have always had an idea. Now, that idea can change. That's not a problem. So, every 2 years, you might change your plan. That's okay. Every 2 years, you might think, I want to do something different. That's totally fine. Um, can you still see me for some reason is saying I'm out. Okay. I'm back now, I think. Let me know if you lost the connection, or did I lose the connection, or because it's just shown as I wasn't there. But I'm back now. I can see it. Okay. So it does make a difference, I think. I believe that having purpose, having a plan makes a difference. And again, it will help. First of all, calm you down if you are the kind of character that is, let's say, panicking or thinking about things, overthinking about their career, etc. No, having a plan takes care of that, helps solve that, and it does also prepare you for a lot of the decisions, as we said, that will come your way. Because the chances are, when you're growing in your career and you're gaining years of experience and your profile is becoming higher as an engineer, you will get contacted for all sorts of different opportunities. And then, is it something that aligns with your values, yes or no? Is it something, you have to ask yourself these questions, is it something that you did see yourself doing? Does it take you closer to your goals or dreams, or does it probably take you in a different direction? Would it change your goals? All these questions are questions that are asked in the context of a career plan, and that's the good thing about it. Um, the way the plan is will depend on your character and personality, how defined it is, how detailed it is, how time, what time frames are they, and are they really actions that you need to take, or is it probably something that you need to be in the proximity of? So let's say you want to learn something that is only available in certain types of projects that are only available in a certain place. Well, okay, so what can you do to you know get yourself into that place? And how it is that you plan for your career, that's the idea of the training that I usually run. And I have a recording for that for that training, and I think it's like an hour and a half long, where I take a group of engineers through how to plan for their careers. And I also have some templates on like career plans that I've created, and this is all based on my experience and what I found worked as an engineering manager and as an engineer as well, for 17 years. So let me know in the comments if you're interested in that, and I'll send it to you. It is on Substack as well. So if you want to subscribe there and get access to all these resources for free. Now, to plan your career progression, the first steps, in my opinion, which are steps that you need to be very, very brave about, and they are to learn more about yourself. You need to find out about your current state and yourself and your current personality. And maybe it's a group of personalities. We are very, very complex beings, and our personalities change. And the aim of this first step, and it's only 3 steps, I think, to plan for your career at any given time, but the aim is to form some kind of flexible view on who you are as a person today. And as I said, that view will change, may change, it will change. But personally, we have to go through a lot of changes, and that is normal with age, with experience, with gaining more knowledge, with when people, tell you you have changed. When people tell me that you have changed to my face, I take it as a very nice compliment, because I know it means that I'm learning something new. I've changed. I've experienced new things. So the questions you need to ask yourself to try and find out more about your character and yourself and your personality as an engineer is, there's many, many questions, but one of them is, what do you enjoy? So what kind of work, or what line of work do you enjoy now? And what line of work kind of work that you would enjoy in the future. So I know people who are 40 years, as I said, into doing the same thing, which is, in their specialty, no problem with that, and they become experts and they become renowned, figures in that specialty, which is great. And if you look at them, they really enjoy it, which is brilliant. So for me, working is, of course, about making a living, 100%. But for me, working without enjoying it is a very, very unfortunate um, situation. So enjoyment and learning would be the main drivers for me personally, but they are a very good question to ask. What do you enjoy, and what would you want to enjoy in the future? Um, what kind of role do you aspire to be? So again, back to when we said, people write down goals. I personally visualize, okay, I want to be, like that person. So I look up to a person. I think, and that's okay. By the way, there's nothing wrong with that, because if you have no idea um, what you want to be in 5 to 6 or 8, 10 years, even, it's okay to start looking around for examples. What are the people in the same industry doing? Um, are they, how are they progressing? How are they finding themselves over the different years? And that's a very, very interesting part of the human experience in general. Is that, you know, l- I I love stories, and we all love stories on a subconscious level, on a conscious level. So there's very little things I think that are more interesting than listening to a real human's story. What did they go through? Especially when that person is an engineer like you, who went through similar circumstances, who went through, um, you know, um, the same kind of hurdles, challenges. It's very, very interesting. And if you really find that person that you connect with and relate to, and understand more about their experience, then that's brilliant. So you need to understand, who do you aspire to be, and try some examples around you. Would you really want to be like that person who's running a company, for example, or running their own company? Or would you want to be as that person who's, the go-to person for every little thing on in their specialty, and they're considered the expert? Or do you want to be that person who's working with people, leading people, all that good stuff? So you need to understand what your aspirations are at this moment in time. And again, they change. So as I told you in the beginning, I felt I wanted to be a project manager. That changed over the years. Um, Another question you can ask is, what are you good at? So the thing, and this is not a bad question. A lot of, I think, people say, well, how could you find out what you're good at if you're new? No, I think you can, by trying different things, because what you're good at naturally, or even something that you find interest in, or enjoyment, back to enjoyment, will be the thing that you can spend longer time doing and achieving more in, and gaining more experience in, and delivering more projects in, that sets you, let's say, ahead of others. Okay, it's not a competition, but it's all about being good at something. So if you are good at, let's say, designing, if you like problem solving and designing, let's say primary design, so you like to visualize equipment, their locations, the clearances, where they're connecting to each other and to different parts, where they sit in a substation, what needs to, carry them, or where do they need to be fixed, and how are they supported, and all that goes. If you enjoy that, then do that for many years, because if you are good at that, that could translate to a title, a status. It could translate to money, financial. It could translate, as I said in the beginning, enjoyment. If it fulfills you, great. So if you wake up every day, privileged to have a job that you get fulfillment out of, you're recognized in, and you are paid well in, so you can, support your family and your personal lifestyle, then brilliant. That's life. Okay, that's good. And what can you do for a longer time? Because again, the time, when we said, when the famous rule says, an expert is considered the person who's done something for 10,000 hours. That's really true. The longer you do something, the more as an expert you get on, or you get in it. Okay. So first of all is self-awareness. Find out what you're good at. Now the second step is break down the gaps to your future self, um, and what you aspire to, and identify these little stepping stones in between. And the aim is to create an action plan. And these are the action plans that we discuss with our managers, in organizations, in the yearly review every 6 months, perhaps, all that good stuff. It's not a problem. It's a similar thing. But I like to have my own action plan, because I cannot put everything in the organizational, let's say, agenda. Okay. I've got personal plans as well. I'm learning about budgeting and financing, and I'm learning about um, I'm really keen to learn things outside of the engineering world, and understand more about how, for instance, AI is impacting different other industries, or parts of life. So you need to basically create an action plan, um, and then measure the gap. What is the gap to that? Sorry, you need to create your goals and your future aspiration, and then measure the gap. What is the gap to that? Is it a number of years of experience? Well, if I look up to a principal engineer, for instance, and I'm a design engineer, and they know their stuff, I'll have a chat with them, like, how did you get there? And they would probably tell you, well, we did this for many, many years, decades. So, okay, so if it's experience that I need to gain, then what kind of experience is it? What kind of role do I need to be doing? And what are the skills that I need to learn and practice? Is it CAD? Is it some sort of calculations? Is it some sort of a piece of a software that I need to learn? Or is it about organizing and, having an action plan, but for the team? Or is it about coordination with the planner, with the program? So what kind of skills? I write them down. I write down my career goals and my skills, and the experience that I need to get me there. And I always look ahead, only 18 to 24 months ahead. I don't look longer than that, as I said, because personally, I feel that there are a lot of ebbs and flows in life. And I'm a person who changes. So, over 2 years, I think my character changes, my personality changes. At core, I'm still the same. I feel so. But of course, we all change. That's part of living. Um, Another question is, your future self. So, where do you need to be? Perhaps the place plays a big role. And you can find out whether this company is a company that I could grow in and reach that role that I'm aspiring to be at. Okay, what contacts do I need to gain? So who are the people that I need to get in touch with and get guidance from and understand more from? And what's my personal brand like at the moment, and what is it missing? So am I known to deliver? Am I known to be a good communicator? Am I known to be a good planner? Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, because I want to just pause for a second and go through the comments and see what you think. And let me know what your thoughts are on this topic so far. Okay, let me see. Where are the comments? Hi, Eunice. Hi. Hi. Hi, all. Um, Muhammad Hamdan Khan. I am working in a marine services engineering company in UAE. Is it easy to get a planning engineer job in Europe? Um, I have seen, so I work in the energy construction industry. So I cannot speak for the marine industry or any other industries I haven't worked in. But I've seen a lot of colleagues from different countries that have moved for this kind of work here in the UK. So I'm not sure about easy, but it's not impossible. Your best bet is to look at the government website to find out what kind of jobs are on the shortage list. And these are the jobs that companies would be usually looking or open to sponsor good candidates to bring over. And yeah, that's all I can tell you. So easy. I don't think anything in life is easy, but it's doable. Of course, a lot of people do it. And if it's the marine services, I've got no idea. I'm sorry, but I can tell you that in substations, yes, there is. Hi, I am an electronic systems engineer from Pakistan. Hi. I'm doing. I'm going to start an instrument design engineer, being a chemical engineer. Excellent. So congratulations. Happy for you. Very happy for you. Well done. Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. Good to see you again. Thank you. Good to see you again as well. Um, which has I can't understand this family business that is high paying but future to see impact versus technical services job which has I cannot understand it. Sorry. Repeat the question again. Try to rewrite your question. It's probably about technical services versus I don't understand it. Sorry. Which has more future? Sorry. Repeat your question again in a different way, please. Um, I can see the video. Good, good, good. I have 9 years of experience. 3 years of electrical design. That's looks like a good um, message. I have 9 years of experience. 3 years electrical design in construction of high-rise buildings. 3 years in construction on other okay, and 3 years in power supply substations. Changing ideas and now have versatile domain where I'm today. Yeah, of course, brilliant. So with the high-rise buildings, you're closer to the customer side and the end consumer side. And when you're working on high voltage and medium voltage, you're more on the bulk supply point side. And brilliant. That's very good. You must be learning a lot, and you must know a lot of things. That's good as an engineer. Your approach, self-evaluation, thank you, creating agenda does help you evolve with time. Yeah, we all evolve with time. Which has better future? Nobody knows the future, not even me, especially not me. Family business of packaging that is high paying but no future to see versus technical process design services job which has future. Which is better? I cannot answer for family business because I've never been in that situation, but I could see that a lot of and technical process design service. Sorry, I don't understand the question. I'm sorry. Okay, next question. What about grid connection? Try to repeat your question again in different. Like, what are you trying to find out? Is it what are you trying to compare? Because when you're saying technical process design services, what's that? Is it? Do you mean design jobs? Well, design jobs are great; they're in demand, but it depends on the actual field you're in. Okay. What about grid connection or compliance? Is this career growing up as an opportunity to get a job? Yes, because it is. It is grid connection, grid compliance. Very, very critical. I've seen a lot of offices and companies establish over the last 5 to 10 years in the UK, in Saudi Arabia, in Egypt, everywhere, in Pakistan, in India. So a lot of offices are opening up, specializing and focusing only on grid connection studies and grid compliance. It's very, very, it's a very hot topic and it's growing. And it's a brilliant, it looks like it's a brilliant business opportunity as well for engineers with that kind of expertise. Because we have a lot of grid connected renewables around the world, especially in Egypt. Is this career maybe good for electrical power engineering? Yes, 100%. It's an excellent career choice. Nobody knows the future, but as I told you, but yes, it's an excellent career choice, and I almost took that career choice myself. I was really interested in power system studies, as I told you, amongst other things. Is CEng really important, Malik? Yes, I think CEng is important. Now, chartership is a tricky one because a lot of people might tell you, no, we earn well and we work great jobs without the charter. I'm not chartered, so uh, I am, but some people might say that. So my answer to them is, well, actually, in three ways. First of all, some jobs absolutely require chartership. Okay, so if you're working in the UK with on a railway electrification project, for example, as an electrical engineer, to my knowledge and to my memory, if my memory serves me right, you cannot be a CRM, so a contractor or a contractor, sorry, CEM, a contractor engineering manager without being chartered. Okay, so here you go. So there are jobs that you cannot do, or the clients would not allow you to do, or authorize you to do if you're not chartered. And the chartership there in that context is basically to provide an extra level of verification um, of the um, of the competence. Okay, so chartership is important for that one point. The second point is if you have two engineers exactly the same, both of them applied for the job, both of them relatively did similar to each other in the interviews, both of them have similar experience. I know it's a rare occasion, but it happens. And only one of them is chartered. Which one are you picking? So here you go. So another answer. The chartership is an extra step that shows somebody has taken extra effort and put extra, because it's not, it is straightforward, but not everybody does it. So it just shows and demonstrates that you have taken that extra step out of your time, out of your effort, and learned about something and applied it and verified your competence. And so those are two reasons. Do you need more? So the third reason for me, it's a very, very good and excellent opportunity for engineers to learn how to articulate themselves and talk about their experience. Because one thing we as engineers, most of us, dare I say it, don't want to talk about ourselves and talk about being part of a team where we're used to teamwork, etc. So this is good training for an engineer to write down about their competence and actually also observe and examine, what could be missing, what could they be. Well, they might also find out some things about themselves. Oh, hang on, yeah, I'm really good at this. Turns out I'm an expert in this and this and this. So it's really good. I think I'm convinced chartership is important. Certifications are important. I'm convinced. I'm a huge advocate for certifications and qualifications, and they're not empty. Trust me, they mean things. Uh, only or when they're of course coupled with practical real life experience. Without them, um, you read between the lines. Yeah, without them, no. Um, I evaluated myself and found out that I do love the visualization involved in primary design. That's when I decided that, yeah, excellent. Look, I think I'm not a primary engineer, but I've worked with primary engineers for many, many years. As a lead engineer and as a secondary engineer and as an engineering manager, whatever. But yeah, primary is all about design, man. It's very interesting, and it got really really interesting with 3D and BIM as well. More and more interesting, and it's gonna be more and more interesting with VR and um, in the near future. Right, I think we're running out of time. So I'm gonna stop the comments for now, or answering the questions for now. I'm gonna go back to the subject. So the third step, okay, the third step is to take the actions, and I think that you have to know your steps from having an action plan and thinking about what you want to do. But then you try to take them calmly with no rush. If you get yourself to be calm and not rushing, that saves you a lot of pressure that you not do not need to deal with. It grounds you, so it allows you to progress further. Trust me. And that's one mistake that I suffered from, was that I was always in a hurry, and it wasn't good for me. So I had to slow down, and when I slowed down, I appreciated a lot of things more and more. And I would not plan anything beyond 18 to 24 months. That's just me, as I said. And let's say that I'm a fresh graduate. My plan is expected to change more than others, because chances are I'm not 100% sure on what I want to end up doing is firmed up yet. So, review your progress every 6 months, try different things, adjust, change your mind. Of course, it's okay to change your mind. Who doesn't change their minds? That's not, we're all human, and we all change our minds. And part of living, as I said, is being able to try different things. We're really lucky. And practically, don't let anybody tell you what you can do or cannot do with your career. You can take advice, listen to it, examine it, find out what works from it for you, implement it. The rest, cut it out. Because the amount of people that I could have listened to and would have ended up in a different place is massive. A lot of people, and don't want to be saying I only want to be saying useful stuff. But when you apply for a big role, for instance, there are people who will question you and will tell you, what are you doing? So you're not ready for that yet. So do not let anybody tell you what you're ready for or not ready for, unless it's somebody you trust. Okay. And even when you trust somebody who's got the experience, understand that their advice is coming from their perspective. Um, it's basically tinted by what they've lived through, so it might not 100% apply to you. Okay. So you do not need anyone to plan for your career progression, but it's okay to get help, and it's brilliant to be advised and guided by someone who has been through similar circumstances and shares the same values as you and in a position that you like or admire. So if you're lucky and if you choose the right place or the right company, that person will be your direct line manager. That's great. Or someone senior in your current organization. Brilliant. I've had it in the past and I had it now. So that's great. But sometimes we're not that lucky. It's not that possible all the time. And sometimes, circumstances differ. So you might not want to be sharing everything. That's fine. We're human. So you can always ask to speak to a mentor. But again, it's got to be somebody that you trust and respect, and who would be speaking from a place of experience, someone who could relate to what you aspire to and what you're going through and what you might be going through. So again, this is all what I have to say on this. Do you have any questions on career planning before we conclude, please? I've done a lot of talking as usual. And we're 50 minutes in, so brilliant. I want to finish before the hour. Okay, let's go back to the chat. Any questions before we go? So process design job, being a chemical engineer, how do you see their career progressing? I'm not an expert on chemical engineering or process design. Sorry, I can tell you about substations but I see their career progressing. There will be different options for them, and I think that you need to stick to something for at least 2 years, and then you will become the expert at it. I think that not the expert, but you will find your way. Um, which one is more in demand? Protection and control engineers or system planning, particularly in the Middle East? Um, I would say they're both in demand. They are both in demand, but I would say protection and control used to be very, very rare. Now it's it's um, it's very common. A lot of people are protection engineers today. Not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Andy, hi Andy. You well? What's the estimated cost of grid upgrades, new builds in the UK over the 10 years? I don't know. I can't remember. I've seen a lot of figures. I think the figure 40 billion comes to mind. Now, I'm not sure whether this was only for the grid upgrades or was it, including other things. But there is a lot of, I remember the figure 10 billion being said, not just the UK, I think in Europe, for digital substations. I can't remember now. So I'll look it up and find you and send it to you. Okay. We have a question that says, and these are questions that have been sent over the last couple of weeks to me. I'm graduating this year and would like to know how to plan for my first job. I would say congratulations. This is exciting. It's very good. Well done. You must be excited and proud as well. Enjoy it. And planning for your first job is all about like picking up the basic skills. If it's CAD, if it's planning skills, software that you need to learn, SharePoint tools and power automation tools. These are all important. Visualization tools. So these are all important, and you need to start learning them. But your number one objective is to find a good place where you could gain more experience and learn more. How to plan for moving to work in the UK or Europe? I don't know about Europe, but UK, I've covered it in the last live. You can go back to that. And I've also written on Substack on that. How much to share of my career plans? I think it's okay to share if you trust the person. So if you've got a good manager, you could share your career plans with them. That's not a problem. I don't think, good managers would mind any career plans, whatever they are. So, and actually, good managers would help you achieve their career plans, because we shouldn't be scared or afraid of anything as managers in this field. How do I gain new skills? That's a good question. You need to identify, again, as we said, career planning. You need to identify what kind of job you want to be doing. And my best bet is always go and speak to somebody who's been doing that job, who's actually, an expert in this in that role, and ask them. And so if you're asking me, for instance, about protection and control, I would say get into a place where you can do commissioning, where you can do testing. Then you'll learn a lot more about protection and control through testing and commissioning than anywhere else. Okay. That's just as an example. If it's primary, I would tell you, let's join a company where they design substations. Okay. And then in design, you'll get to learn more about primary than anywhere else. How do I know which are the best companies to join? It's very easy to know that now. You've got Glassdoor. You can see even reviews of employees and people who have left the companies. What do they say about it? And you could also look at LinkedIn and find out how the people progressed within that company. So if you look at somebody's profile and you see that they've stayed in this company for 10 years and they've progressed from a role to the next, to the next, to the next, and they've stayed within that company, chances are And if you think that person is similar profile to you, chances are this is a good company. And back to that, also follow people. So, people work for people, they don't work for companies. So, good people, try to find the good people and try to work with them. What mistakes to avoid when discussing my salary? First of all, you don't discuss your salary with anybody but your manager or somebody who maybe a recruiter or a headhunter. And even then, I'll be very. I would want to know about the salary of the job or the banding of the job before I share the salary. That will be my advice to you. How do engineers get promoted? Okay. Um, First of all, there's got to be the opportunity. So, the place has to be a place or an organization that nurtures growth and promotes engineers. Okay. And there's got to be the opportunity. So, if you're in a place, in a team that you don't see a place for you to be promoted, your chances are you're not going to be promoted. So, that's very important. And that's why, for engineering managers, they have to make sure that there are these kind of progression horizons available for everybody. Okay, and look, progression is different for everybody, so it doesn't have to be all the same solution. So different people are motivated and aspire to different things. So are differently motivated and aspire to different things. So first of all is the opportunity and the organization. Second is the gap between your skills and experience and the role that you are looking to be promoted into. And again, we can talk about that a lot. And then the third thing I think is very important is a combination of your personal brand, but also your contact. So if you've got a sponsor in the business who can help you and guide you, and if the decision maker is a person that knows you and have got a positive perception of your personal brand, then that will also help get you promoted. So it's very important to, and that you can control. Okay, people say maybe somebody hearing this says it's not fair. No, that's very fair. You control what people can perceive, or you control how you're perceived as part of your personal brand. If you finish jobs on time, you're perceived as a finisher. If you're a person who's collaborating and easy to work with, you're perceived as a good team player. Okay, everybody will want you on their team and will look after you if you are a good team player and if you're finishing jobs and if you've got all the good traits. This is not rocket science, and it's nothing new. It's basic knowledge. What are the best career paths for engineers? Depending on your character and your personality. So for me, I like talking, as you can see and hear, and I like working with people. So maybe I ended up in the place that I really enjoy doing, which is engineering leadership and working with a team and helping develop new business, etc. So probably that's me. But if you enjoy project management, and I did enjoy project, I loved it. Then being a project manager is a good bet, or is a good plan. Or you could also, and this is interesting. Hear this: there is a lot of engineers leaving engineering management and going back into technical roles because they find it more fulfilling, they find it more lucrative. Okay, and it gives them uh, what they believe is better work-life balance that works for them. Okay, so there's different career paths, and the best career path is the one that you enjoy and like, and feel is right for you. How do you cope with pressure at work? With just experience, you get to cope with different things. You learn over the years, and I don't take myself too seriously, as you can see, and as you can probably hopefully feel from these conversations. But a little bit of pressure is good for me. But you need to understand more and learn more about your mental health and your well-being, and what can trigger your stress and what helps you um, release and de-stress, etc. So you need to learn more about yourself and educate yourself about mental health and your well-being, in order to be able to cope with different pressures. But if you do something you enjoy, then you're not going to feel a lot of the harmful pressure. Okay. And again, it's different for different people. So some people would not, or would be able to cope with pressure if the job is rewarding for them, on different levels, maybe financially, maybe in recognition, maybe they're establishing their personal brand as an industry leader or a specialist, etc. So it all depends on, again, your personality and character. And this is why, as I said in the beginning, it's really crucial to learn more about yourself before you start learning about anything else. I have been applying to many job opportunities and I'm getting rejected without feedback. How to proceed? I did write about this on Substack. So again, you can go to Substack and read what I've written about this. But you look, again, I said in the beginning, don't let anyone tell you what you should or shouldn't be doing. But I wouldn't be applying to many job opportunities, and the reason being is, um, you might be, wasting a lot of chances, that you could have. First of all, sometimes the grass is not appearing or not always greener on the other side. Okay. Um, if you apply to many job opportunities and you're getting rejected without feedback, that's because your CV's either got something wrong with it, or the job is not at the right level for you. So, or they perceive you as not at the right level. So, look, this is all subjective. It's people's opinions. It's not based on facts, if you like, in my opinion, at least. So, it's part of learning how to apply for jobs, and that's a skill today. How to network on LinkedIn, and that's a skill. How to portray and articulate your experience and your skill set. Try your best to get feedback, but sometimes there is no feedback. So people will just look at the CV and say, no, it's not the right type. Or, it's an automatic system. If it's one of these really big companies that receive hundreds, if not thousands of CVs, they're going to be putting your CV through an ATS, which is an automatic, I can't remember the name, but it's an automatic system, basically an AI algorithm nowadays, that will decide whether your CV is at the right. And then you need to customize your CV. So your CV has to be in a good format, doesn't include sensitive information, blah blah blah. So there's a lot of things that makes a CV get rejected by these systems. So you need to learn about that as well. There is plenty of good CV writers and people who could help you with CVs, professional CV writers out there, and plenty of programs if you want to do it yourself. And there's good also apps and websites out there that you could look into drafting a good CV. But for me, it's all about we were going to talk about CVs today, but twice as many people chose how to talk about or to talk about how to plan your engineering career. I'm still getting questions, so do you want me to carry on, or shall we call it a day and go back to our evenings? Is anybody still like? Does anybody want me to carry on? Do you want me to carry on? Please tell me. How you see traction power supply in railway metro? How do you see traction power supply careers in railway metro? Yeah, there's a lot of jobs or work in electrification, so it's very promising. Infrastructure in general is going to be promising, especially around digitalization and especially around the integration of AI and the new asset management systems. My concerns with the UK, national and Middle East, that may have one DNO. Yeah, but every company's got its own code and its own standards. So that's part of the learning journey that you're gonna have to go on. Um, how our criteria do this because I worked with a lot of software lonely. Very long question. Very long question. I'll read this and reply to it later if you wouldn't mind, because I'm not even sure. I have no software consumer English YouTube channel specialism. Please share it. Oh, okay. I don't know about YouTube channels for power systems. I'm sorry, or power system studies. But what I can tell you is that you mentioned I cannot find the mentor. It's very easy to find a mentor nowadays on LinkedIn. Okay, pick the right person, network with them politely, respect their time and privacy, and just you'll find a lot of people out there who want to help. I'm sure you'll find somebody who wants to help you, who can help you in that field. And if you start, chances are, if you start posting about what you want to learn or what you're actually in the process of learning, you will connect with people who resonate with you. Okay. Where are we now? Uh, I want to do a master's from the UK. Yeah, there is a lot of master's programs in the UK, and I would really recommend the UK as a country to study and even work in, because I still think it's a good place. You can learn a lot here. How to deal with a micromanager type boss? Hmm. It's first of all, you need to understand what makes them trying to micromanage you. Okay, uh, is it something that they perceive, or is it just their character? If it's something that it's with your, let's say, style of communication, then you try to find out that and trying to fix it. If it's their character, then I'm afraid there's not much you could do about it. But you could try to ease the friction by making sure that you meet in a frequent way, let's say once a week, and you kind of try and govern the communication. So the micromanager is somebody who's checking all the time on you, is on you all the time, giving you actions all the time, and then verifying or trying to be with you step by step. And you can unpick these pieces and just put, like, let's say, agree a way of communication, with them. So say, look, we're gonna agree every Monday. We're gonna sit down and agree the actions, and I'm gonna report to you back in, let's say, 4 or 5 days time on how these actions are progressing, and like that. But there's always two sides to the story. Remember that. So if I think someone is a micromanager, I need to first also check, what am I doing? And am I actually being reasonable? Am I doing this, that? That's just me. And that's helped me massively. So always try to take things not personally and not as a reflection on yourself, but try to find what you can control in the situation and try to find middle grounds in any conflicting situation. Okay. And as always, be calm and always assess where you're at. So before you take any actions. Um, bu- 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 I tried. So my career starts with substation operator. I tried a lot of interviews. Due to the lack of experience, I am still in this position. Can you guide me? Um, you need to start finding like other ways. If you're in an organization that has other roles, try to diversify what you do. So try something different and tell them, I want to be doing something different. I want to learn something different. A lot of organizations, especially today, a lot of organizations help, mobilize people in different roles to get them exposed to different things and not have people leave or end up leaving. How many years of experience in the UK, say a DNO, would get me a job in the Middle East? I don't know. I don't think you can answer that question because um, level of experience. You can have top excellent 5 years where you learn a lot more than people would learn in 10. But chances are in the Middle East, if they want somebody, it's gonna be 15 years or more because it's usually for critical projects that need to be delivered stat and they need people who are ready to hit the ground running. So it's gotta be experienced people. Okay, so thank you so much, all. I think we can call it a day after an hour and 10 minutes. I need to go now and have my food and sit with the family. So thank you so much, all. Appreciate your questions as always. If you need any help or if you have any questions, connect with me on Substack. Okay, LinkedIn is very busy and I get many, many, many messages and many comments. Actually, as a matter of fact, let me put this out. LinkedIn does not tell me when you comment on something. Okay, so I do not see 99% of the comments unless I stumble upon them by chance on LinkedIn. I'm really sorry. I don't know why it does that, but I don't get notifications when people send me comments. So if you have a question, send me on Substack. Substack is the place that sends me an email when somebody um, says something or sends me something, etc. So I get a notification there. So this is the best place to connect with me. Okay, and as always, please um, stay positive. Enjoy, and this is an exciting time to be an engineer. And as always, keep your questions coming. And thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Have a lovely evening. Goodbye.